Hey everyone, and welcome. We're about to pull back the curtain on a huge financial trap that's heading straight for millions of retirees. If you've been taking advantage of those great CD rates lately, you are absolutely going to want to see this. Let's get right into it. So let me ask you this. Over the past couple of years, so many of you parked your cash in CDs, locking in those fantastic 4, even 5% returns. I mean, it felt like the safest, smartest move you could possibly make, right? A guaranteed win. But what if that quote-unquote safe move came with a hidden price tag that's about to come due? So here's the deal. The interest you're earning right now in 2024 could trigger a massive surprise penalty 2 years from now in 2026. It's this delayed financial sting that's going to show up in a letter from Social Security. And you're going to be asking, how on earth did this happen? Well, it all boils down to one simple but kind of powerful rule. Medicare has a 2-year memory. The income you report on your 2024 tax return, that isn't just a record of the past. Nope. It is the exact blueprint for the Medicare premiums you'll be paying in 2026. Okay, check out this timeline. It lays it out perfectly. In 2024, you earn the interest. Then, in late 2025, Social Security gets around to reviewing that year's tax return. And then, bam, in 2026, your premiums shoot up based on that old information. You see? The action and the consequence are separated by 2 full years, and that's exactly why this catches so many people completely by surprise. Now, the official fancy name for this penalty is IRMAA. Just think of it like this. It's a surcharge that gets tacked right onto your standard Medicare premiums if your income crosses certain thresholds. And we're not talking about a small adjustment here. It is a significant extra cost, all tied back to your income from 2 years ago. And this is where you really have to pay attention. These are what we call income cliffs. For 2024 income, if you're a single filer and your income is $109,000 or less, you're fine. 0 penalty. But go just $1 over and you trigger an extra premium of over $81 a month. And for married couples, that threshold is $218,000. And get this, the penalty hits each spouse.
Let's just put a big, hard number on that. Going one single dollar over that line is going to cost you an extra $974 per person per year just in Medicare Part B premiums. It is not a gradual increase. It's a sudden, expensive cliff that you just fall right off of the second you cross that line.
To make this crystal clear, let's walk through a scenario. Let's meet Linda. She is the perfect example of how this trap works in the real world with what she thought was a very, very safe investment. So, Linda's a single filer. In 2024, her base income was $103,000. She's looking good, right? She is well clear of that $109,000 cliff. She's got a $6,000 cushion. Seems perfectly safe. But Linda did what so many of us did. She put a chunk of her savings, $170,000, into a high-yield CD that was paying 5%. That move generated an extra $8,500 in interest income for her in 2024. A really smart move, or so she thought. And right here, this is the tipping point. Her base income of $103,000 was safe, but you add that $8,500 in CD interest, and her income for Medicare purposes, it's called MAGI, it jumps up to $111,500. That pushed her $2,500 right over the cliff. So what's the damage? A total annual penalty for both her Medicare Part B and Part D of $1,148. That is money coming directly out of her pocket in 2026, all because of interest she earned back in 2024. A huge chunk of her safe earnings just vanished into higher premiums. Now, if you think Linda's situation is bad, it gets even more painful for married couples. Let's take a look at Tom and Barbara, because for them, it's double trouble. The penalty is applied for per person. So, Tom and Barbara's combined income was $207,000. They were safely under that $218,000 married cliff. But their CDs earned them $14,000. That pushed their total income up to $221,000, just $3,000 over the line. And because they crossed that threshold, they both get hit with the penalty. Tom pays an extra $1,148 a year, and Barbara pays an extra $1,148 a year. That is a jaw-dropping total of $2,296 in extra Medicare costs for the couple, all because of that safe CD interest. Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, aha, I'm safe. I invested in tax-free municipal bonds.
Well, there is a nasty twist here that can catch even the most careful financial planners completely off guard. And it's a perfectly logical question. I mean, the interest is tax-free, so it shouldn't count towards an income-related penalty, right? Well, unfortunately, when it comes to the rules for Medicare, that assumption is completely 100% wrong. And here is exactly why. The special formula Medicare uses to calculate your income, your MAGI, is different. They start with your regular adjusted gross income, but then they add back in any tax-exempt interest you earned. You can see it right there on your tax form, line 2A. So for Medicare, let me say it again, tax-exempt does not mean invisible. It counts. Okay, that was the problem, and it's a serious one, but it is not hopeless. Now let's pivot to the solution. Here is a clear 5-step action plan you can use to check exactly where you stand and, more importantly, protect yourself going forward. First, go grab your 2024 tax return. Add line 11 and line 2A to find your MAGI. Second, if you find out you're over, see if you can appeal using Form SSA 44 for a life-changing event like retirement. Third, and this is critical, start planning your 2025 income now, because that is what sets your 2027 premiums. Fourth, maybe look for alternatives to CDs, like tax-deferred options where the growth doesn't immediately smash into your MAGI. And fifth, know your exact limit. Calculate precisely how much interest you can earn before you go over that cliff. So let's recap these critical numbers one more time so they really stick. For your 2024 income, the first cliffs are $109,000 for single filers and $218,000 for couples. And please, do not forget the incredible cost of a tiny mistake. Going just $1 over can cost you nearly $1,000 more per person every single year. So I'm going to leave you with this final, crucial question. Now that you've seen how all this works, do you actually know your 2024 MAGI? If you don't, it's time to find out, because that number is going to determine what you pay for Medicare in 2026. Thanks so much for tuning in.